back in '95, there weren't very many people on the internet. And certainly nobody was making any money at all. Most people thought the internet was going to be a fad.
If you were a billionaire, what would you do with all that money? Solve world hunger? Move the entire world to renewable energy? Permanently end homelessness, perhaps? No? None of those things. Well, that's a shame, but I suppose since none of the current roster of billionaires have opted to do any of those things besides them being well within the range of possibilities for those with more money than God, I can't really blame you for being on the same page as such paragons of virtue as Jeff, basically just Lex Luthor Bezos, and Mark Augustus Caesar fetishist Zuckerberg. That last bit wasn't a joke. That's literally why his hair looks like that. It's gonna sound like I'm joking? I promise you I'm not. Look it up. With all of the possibilities that would immediately make the world a better place taken off the table, however, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you wouldn't sink your entire fortune into turning a social media site into a pyramid scheme? And further, funneling the money from that pyramid scheme into the hands of people credibly accused of horrific crimes of a sexual nature, and those agitating for global fascism. But that is what Elon Musk, formerly the richest man on the entire planet, is doing with his fortune, or what's left of it at this point. I am, of course, talking about Twitter. I mean, X.com. Sorry, I didn't mean to dead name Elon Musk's failing website. And its ad revenue sharing service, as much as it exists. A last-ditch attempt by the South African tech billionaire Supreme to make up for how much money he's losing on buying X, in the first place, by trying to persuade people that paying him to use a previously free website will be the thing that finally makes them rich. An upfront cost? Promises of riches? All for a company with no clear product, besides sucking at the teat of Elon Musk's ego? What does that sound like? And why does it rhyme with schmalty schmevel schmarketing? Well, that's because it is. Kind of. It depends on which definition you want to use.
Phil has recruited me and another guy. Now we are getting 3 people each. The more people that get involved, the more people who are investing, the more money we're all gonna make. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se. I have to go make a call.
For legal reasons, I would never accuse Elon Musk of running a pyramid scheme. That would be illegal. Or running a multi-level marketing scheme, which wouldn't be illegal, but would also be kind of dubious because everyone knows it basically should be legal. But what I am saying is, it looks a bit like one. But who am I to comment on this? Well, I'm Brigitte Empire, science and culture correspondent for the Daily Telegraph, the only newspaper in Britain that started off as a pyramid scheme, not as in the scam made to sap money out of desperate people, but as in the money to start up this little venture was stolen straight out of the Great Pyramids of Giza by Lord Nonsbottom himself, back in the days where he was just going around the world looting foreign nations on behalf of the British Empire. Now he just sits in a boardroom waiting for the curse that keeps him alive in his rotting corpse prison of a body to break, so you can understand why I take umbrage with this business practice. It gives pyramid-based businesses a bad name. And we already have all that imperial plundering to try and make people forgive us for without being implicated in some sort of massive financial scam on top of that. So, just to drive this point home, let me point out the ways in which Elon Musk's fantastic new payment system lines up with the warning signs that the business you're about to pay into is a multi-level marketing scheme, and why you shouldn't buy into it. Unless you really like losing all your money. As much as I would be hesitant to define Twitter ad revenue sharing explicitly as a multi-level marketing scheme, not just because I don't have the money to withstand being sued by the former richest man in the world, but because I don't think with the information we have right this moment that we can make a definitive statement one way or another, although it certainly looks one way. A lot of the red flags that point towards everyone's favourite genre of financial scams are present, and to be honest, whether you want to make the call that this is for sure an MLM, or just as elements of one, depends on which definition of an MLM you use. And this can sometimes be used by multi-level marketing schemes to weasel out of accusations of being a multi-level marketing scheme. Not that I'm saying this is what Elon Musk is doing. For example, Investopedia, what a reliable source, refers to multi-level marketing as a strategy used by some direct sales companies to sell products and services. MLM encourages existing members to promote and sell their offerings to other individuals and bring on new recruits into the business. Distributors are paid a percentage of their recruits' sales. New recruits become the distributor's network or downline and are, in turn, encouraged to make sales to earn money. Given the complete lack of transparency on how the Twitter payout system works, it's unclear whether the few people getting paid ad revenue are getting their revenue from converting other users to Twitter Blue. For example, what percentage of their followers are Blue members, and in all likelihood, they're probably not. So this isn't an MLM, right? Well, Twitter Blue users are paying to enter into this potential revenue system. Only a few people at the top, or maybe not even the top, but Elon's chosen few, and some very dubious figures at that, are receiving any money from all of this money being put in. And Elon Musk himself has been very clear from the start of his purchase of Twitter that he wants to move the company into a subscriptions model, with millions of people paying into Twitter Blue. The goal of this is to encourage people to buy in, for the small chance that they will be paid, despite the choice of who is being paid not seeming to be anything but arbitrary at the time of writing this. Basically, what you need to do to be paid is be one of Elon's favourite fascist accounts, like End Wokeness, or that person who did child sex crimes that they're now having to defend in an Australian court. In order to receive a payout for this service, such as the massive payouts being displayed by the few people who've received them, it's in the interest of all Blue users to recruit more people to the site. Only if more people get paid in, do they get paid, at least in theory. And now that the threshold for payment has been lowered according to the website itself, so, don't trust it yet, this is made more explicit. But for now, we can only say that this is how it works in theory. And I say in theory because we have no way of knowing how Musk is choosing who gets paid, and if there is a way to get paid at all, even if you were to recruit 1,000 people to Twitter Blue. But this is part of the promise of the ad revenue sharing system Musk is using. An over-promising of grand cash payouts if the scheme takes off, the incentive to bring others in, and the necessity of paying in yourself at the start of the scheme, giving you immediate skin in the game, and assuring that you're incentivized to make that money back by encouraging others to pay into it. That is several aspects of what makes something a multi-level marketing scheme, and frankly, until it's revealed how these decisions were made in Musk's private conversations with his staff, which could be revealed anywhere from when he inevitably gets sued for all the crimes he keeps doing in a few months to, well, never. But Musk's Twitter revenue sharing model has enough elements of a multi-level marketing scheme that I think it would be irresponsible of me not to warn people away from it on that basis, as much as some elements are missing or obscured. And no matter what the intent of this, if it walks like a scam, talks like a scam, then, treat it like a scam? At least until you know better. That's how the saying goes, right? The thing is, one of the warning signs of an MLM is that the scheme cannot provide proof of revenue from retail sales. In this instance, Musk's lack of transparency both obscures whether he is running an MLM, while also adding to the suspiciously similar nature of his new scheme to confirmed multi-level marketing schemes. In fact, if we go through the warning signs of an MLM scam or pyramid scheme from Experian, we can tick off a fair few of the warning signs on site. Number 1. The program doesn't offer a legitimate product or service. That's strike 1. The product of Twitter is its users, whose monetary value is previously tied to advertising. Now people pay into it just to use the site. There is no other product being sold. Number 2. The program can't provide proof of revenue from retail sales. Strike 2. There are no retail sales being made as far as we know. 3. The program charges an upfront fee in order to participate. Strike 3. You have to pay at least $8, if not more. Number 4. The program's commission structure is confusing, or a promoter claims the company doesn't have an income disclosure statement. Strike 4. The fact that only a few accounts were chosen for payouts, with no transparency on how or why they were chosen, while thousands received nothing, should raise a bunch of red flags. Since this script was originally written, actually, some of these accounts have come back and saying they haven't been paid again. So Tim Pool, a fascist agitator, for example, received an initial payout, at least if we're going to believe his account, of around $5,000. The second month where he was due to receive money, he received nothing. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate received a bunch of money, and Wokeness, another fascist agitator account, someone credibly accused of CSA, received some money. Most received nothing. Now they're being promised more. Number 5. Promoters make unrealistic claims about the money-making potential. This is strike 5. With a post made by people like Andrew Tate and Tim Pool, the scheme is being promoted as offering payouts by the order of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, Twitter is famously bankrupt, and changing its name to X has not somehow made it solvent. And while the company is swimming in the debt Musk had to take out to buy the company in the first place, it's hard to believe that this money is going to be a continued source of income, and it isn't just being poured into the pot of big IOU money that Musk needs to pay back investors. The other 3 points on this list are thankfully less present in the scheme right now, at least. At the moment, evangelizing for Twitter Blue isn't in vogue, but it could be in the future. Especially as the time for Musk to pay off his loans draws closer and closer, he's going to need more and more people to be paying in. More and more advertisers are leaving the company. Therefore, Musk is having to rely more and more as time goes by on these subscriptions. Even if more evangelical aspects never arrive, however, there are enough strikes here that this is very worrying. The most innocent interpretation of this whole affair is that Musk is encouraging people to sign up as a sort of gambling. At worst, well, what did the Egyptians build? As to whether this was the intent of Musk, whether he is creating a financial scam or falling ass backwards into predatory business practices as easily as he's creating new employment lawsuits with every move, to be honest, I'm not even sure this is on purpose. In fact, I would hazard to guess that Musk didn't intend to create anything remotely similar to a multi-level marketing scheme at all. Elon Musk just has a brain so full of carnivorous worms that he probably came up with this completely unique business model on his own and thought to himself, oh my god, what a genius I am. People will pay me to work, and in return, I'll get all the money. The thing is, there's a reason why pyramid schemes are illegal, and there's a reason why multi-level marketing is something so many of us have our ears open for. Scams like this are very common, and most of us have at one point or another had a job interview for a firm that turned out to be an MLM. I know I have. Or have had a conversation with a friend or loved one that we thought was innocent, but then turned out to be an attempt for them to get us into their MLM. Because once someone's paid in, the only way for them to get their money back, never mind make an actual living off this, is to scam other people. That's why it's a pyramid scheme. One person at the top takes the money of those below them. Those people recruit people who pay them, and so on, and so on. These people aren't selling anything. They're conning people. They're leeching off the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and to do that, they need an ever-increasing number of people becoming the new base of the pyramid. At least more than they're getting people realizing the pyramid scheme is a giant scam and leaving, that is. And when Elon Musk made his ad revenue sharing scheme for Twitter, at first it did sound like this is what he would be trying. At first, it sounded as if he was going to monetize Twitter the same way that, say, YouTube is monetized, where you earn a portion of ad revenue dependent on your reach. Once your channel has reached a certain size, with revenue tracked per video, you can do what I do and make as much as £3. But the reveal of Twitter's ad revenue sharing service was pay for our premium service, formerly Twitter Blue, now whatever X is when you pay for it. Probably something with more X's. Triple X, maybe? Double XL? No, those both sound wrong. Anyway, pay for entry, and then all of the money goes to like 3 accounts that belong to some of the most vile human beings on the planet. Your average Twitter Blue user earns absolutely nothing. In fact, they make a net loss. They're paying into the system. Not that I was rooting for them, but, you know, that's not exactly what was promised. Meanwhile, the money paid into Musk's dying social media site by hopeful users, thinking they're about to get a small payout, or in fact, a big one as it's been advertised, ends up manifesting in thousands of dollars going to Andrew Tate, convicted sex trafficker and current felon in the Romanian prison system for said sex trafficking, along with other crimes to similar levels of vileness. People who've been credibly accused of sharing CP, and Tim Pool, a beanie-wearing fascist whose entire job is to agitate for an American version of the Third Reich, to the point where he has been cited as an influence by mass shooters. Thank you, Elon. Very cool. Now, while you might be saying, well, Twitter doesn't have a product it's selling, therefore it can't be a multi-level marketing scheme. Congratulations, you've committed the classic blunder of admitting that it's even worse than I've previously been making out. You see, the legal difference between a multi-level marketing scheme, which is legal, and a pyramid scheme, which is not, because it's a scam, is that there's no real product being sold in a pyramid scheme. An MLM without a product is a crime. And if we're not just speaking in legalese, an MLM without a product basically only exists to justify the legality of the scam underlying the business. An MLM that technically sells bottles of toilet cleaner isn't a toilet cleaner business. Its money does not come from the selling of toilet cleaner to a customer base that wants it, but from the people who buy into the company, who are then left with a basement full of toilet cleaner that they have to sell to some other sucker, or they'll end up financially destitute. Now, I wouldn't accuse Elon Musk of running a pyramid scheme, because that would be accusing him of committing a crime. But I do think it's interesting that one of the big distinctions that makes his current scheme not an MLM would make it something much worse in the eyes of the law, as much as in many people's eyes the distinction may be purely semantic. I won't say that I agree that MLMs and pyramid schemes are essentially the same thing, but I won't say they're not. And that's besides the fact that the people who are getting payouts from Elon Musk are some of the most dangerous people in the public sphere right now. You would think that anyone giving funds to Andrew Tateable people would be put on the fast track to Romanian prison, but in the least, it shows a lack of morals on the part of Musk. He's a billionaire, so that's kind of to be expected, but still, even most billionaires wouldn't openly support people who are obviously guilty of horrendous crimes and literal human trafficking. The Timple stuff is less surprising, as are the multiple fascist online accounts. Musk has been taking the red pill for a while now, and has been increasingly open about his support for fascists such as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, libs of TikTok, and wokens, and people who are actively inciting violence against queer people, encouraging stochastic terrorism on drag events and gay bars, outlawing the existence of queer people in the state of Florida, despite Elon Musk himself having a transgender daughter. These actions are fundamentally harmful, if not outright evil, and really, a scam that funnels money from poor people being promised a few dollars for running ads on Twitter to literal fascists and literal human traffickers? It's actually less shocking than I'd like. It's likely that he'll only get louder from here as well, and with the amount of money he has, I wouldn't be surprised if he's directly funding a lot more fascists behind the scenes, those intent on seeing people like his daughter 6 feet under. This man is not someone you should trust with your money. He barely deserves your attention. But now, Elon Musk's lack of transparency in his financial dealings might be his saving grace. As much as it looks like he's running one of the largest social media websites in the world as a financial scam, we can't know for sure. But if I were you, I'd advise you to give precisely none of your money to this apartheid baby billionaire who's trying to buy his way into popularity. Buy yourself something nice instead. Or, here's an idea that's not anything like a multi-level marketing scheme. Subscribe to my Patreon. That end part was a joke, but also kind of not. So if you want to support this channel, you can pay me on Coffee at Brigitte Empire, Brigittee. That's not how you spell it. Brigittempire, on PayPal at Catherine Strickson, that's Catherine. I can't even say my own name. CatherIneStrickson at gmail.com. You can like and subscribe to this channel, share the video, especially if you're another YouTuber, that really helps. Or, if you really want me to sing your praises, you should, because I like you. You can join my Patreon. My Patreon starts from £1 a month, and I'm listing new benefits recently. You might have heard in the last video if you watched that, in addition to what I was offering before. This is because I am on the edge of needing financial assistance, and I don't have a right to that as an immigrant in the country I'm currently in. So I would really appreciate it if you could help me out. I'm still looking for jobs, but right now this is my only income, and I truly appreciate everyone who helps me keep the lights on and keep myself fed and watered and all of that bollocks. So right now, the Patreon benefits are exclusive content, early videos, a shout out at the end of each video, as you will get soon. Also, access to our patrons Discord, where you can chat with me and the lovely folks there, and access to my Nintendo for Switch friend code if that interests you, discounts on any future stuff put out from here, and, you know, general good vibes. It starts from £1 a month, which is basically nothing, and it's going to become less and less as time goes on. So, if that sounds good to you, and I hope it does, please sign up. If it doesn't sound good to you, also sign up, because really, what are you going to do with that money? What, buy Twitter Blue? Ugh. Listen, I love doing this work. I would love to be able to commit myself to it without worrying where our next meal comes from. So, please, 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 don't pay if you can't, but if you can, I would absolutely love it if you could contribute. I'm hoping to be able to pay my grocery bill with this by the end of this year. On a relating note, these are the following people, who are the absolute heroes, who are currently standing in the way between myself and starvation. They are, of course, my patrons, and their lovely names are Soma Piglet, Meredith Matthews, 4IS, Artie Wolf, Aidan Gaylor, Greg Noble, No Kings, Only Fools, H, Deanna McMillan, Tweak, Carolina Regalado, Jenny Linsky, Alexandra Lilly, Howard Lott, Lara Van Loon, Nerania Scarjan, and Joey Cobalt. Thank you so much, all of you guys, as always. You know by now that how much you mean to me. I'll probably tell you in the Discord after this as well when I post this. You guys made such a difference to my life. I love talking to you and shitposting with you in the Patreon comments and the Discord when I will eventually get more on that. I'm still sorting out my immigration stuff. I know I said I was done with that last week. It turns out you're never done with immigration stuff. There's always more stuff to hand in. So I'm a little bit busy, but I'm always a little bit busy. So thank you so much. Please nudge me if you want. Any questions you have, patrons always welcome to reach out to me. Any suggestions, questions, suggestions for future topics, anything. Basically, I'll be your dancing monkey if you pay me. That's what I'm saying. So let me be your dancing monkey, and goodbye. Keep on wizarding. Everyone, this is Strudel. She's going to be sitting with us today, because otherwise she'll be eating the plants on the other side of the room. We can't have that, can we? Pair into the mic for them, Strudel. Yeah? How are we doing? Oh, off we go. No? Adventure time? Are you coming or are you staying? Yeah? How are we feeling? You can sleep on my lap. Ooh, baby. Ooh. Purr directly into the microphone, aren't you lucky? Yeah? Please don't jump on the laptop. Look at this little idiot. Look at this. Look at this idiot. Woo! It's too hot for this. Do, 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 do. Yeah? How we doing? I should actually check that we're using the right microphone before I set up. Yes? Okay, and it's not overloading. Okay, I'm going to try this. Everyone has been complaining about the audio issues, quite rightly. I'm trying this by recording a lot quieter, but I think the main problem was actually Discord being open. And it's not, but if this sounds grainy, it's because I recorded so much quieter volume at a test. So we'll see how this goes, I suppose. Mark Augustus Caesar Fetishist Musk. Mark Musk. And Mark
Maximus Decimus Meridius.